Good morning, Mike. Thanks for spending some time. Wanted to talk a little bit about your expertise and specialty, which is cost segregation. But before we get into the technical side of cost segregation, can you give me a little framework around kind of what are the business situations that kind of drive the consideration to do a cost segregation? And then part B would be what are the types of organizations we actually do these for?
Sure. Thanks for having me, by the way, Sam. Nice to talk to you this morning. But we perform cost segregation studies basically on any real property asset for clients that are paying taxes. So if they're a not-for-profit, we usually don't work with them. But if they are a for-profit business that owns real property that they are depreciating, we can definitely look at that and perform a study on those types of properties. The types of clients range from, single private landowners all the way up to large manufacturing facilities that might have either improved or constructed a facility fairly recently.
Super. And just give me an overview of what is cost segregation, how does it work, and kind of build on the ideas of where it works best.
Absolutely. What we do in my group, we're typically not CPAs, we're engineers and construction people. We apply those same construction cost estimating and engineering principles to real property assets. We create or recreate the building on paper cost wise, and then apply those principles and unit takeoffs and such, and accelerate qualifying assets that qualify for accelerated depreciation. So again, it has worked for almost every type of client that Armanino has that pays taxes, that's in a tax paying situation. We've worked on held single family residences, all the way up through apartment buildings, medical office buildings, typical office buildings, retail, hospitals, and a more common one is probably manufacturing type facilities that hold. What we're looking for are specialized assets that qualify for accelerated depreciation. And the more specialized that building is, the more property we can typically recover from it and reallocate to a shorter depreciable life.
There's a new legislation winding its way through Washington, and it's made its way through the House. It's on its way to the Senate. And as of like today, which is March 23rd, what are we seeing in the current bill and as it stands, and how would it impact the services and the kind of the work that we're doing, knowing that it's not fully baked, but what are we seeing as of right now?
As you mentioned, as of right now, the bill reintroduces 100% bonus depreciation on those qualifying assets I referred to earlier for projects beginning placed in service January 19th of 2025, I believe. So the prior bonus regime is down to 40% for 2025. So that would be actually really exciting for my practice and our clients if we were able to recover 100% of the qualifying assets in 2025 and beyond. I believe it's for 4 or 5 more years. So that would actually be really exciting for us. Another aspect of what we deal with is the 179D commercial energy efficient commercial building deduction. That looks like it's been extended as part of this package. One thing that was a casualty was the 45L, which was a home energy efficient new home credit, which looks like it may be on its way out. That was another aspect of what we provide in our group. So right now it looks like 100% bonus and the extension of 179D are the biggest takeaways from the new bill as passed currently.
Excellent. And I know our team at Armanino is tracking this closely. What's the process if somebody's interested in kind of learning more or maybe in a situation to reach out to us and explore kind of could this be helpful for them?
Yeah, typically what we do is we get some preliminary information from the client. If it's new construction, we ask for a payment application from the contractor, maybe some drawings and a construction budget. If it's an acquisition of an existing building, we would just ask for an appraisal, physical address, and the settlement statement or expected purchase price. That's kind of our phase one. We look through it. We determine, based on historical precedent, how much of the building we feel we can accelerate to a shorter life. We'll provide you with that estimate as well as a fixed fee to perform our work. So it's actually a pretty straightforward and simple process. We can turn that initial proposal around pretty quickly.
Then once we would provide a proposal, how long is the process typically? Do we go on site? We go on site some of the time, all the time, none of the time.
Most of the time, we do like to do a site visit. We don't have to spend a lot of time. It's not really, it is non-invasive to the client. It might be an hour or two, just take some notes and photos. Ideally, we typically, on a typical average project, will ask for 4 to 6 weeks to complete it. Now, that can be compressed if need be. If it's a more difficult, kind of drawn out project, it may be extended a bit. But I would say our average turnaround time is between 4 to 6 weeks.
In terms of kind of, I know this is going to be a little bit of a estimate question for you, but what have you seen in terms of before a client, if a client hadn't done a study like this versus after the study is done, what's been kind of the range of the outcomes that you've kind of found? And maybe you can dig into types of things that you're seeing that create accelerated depreciation, but just sense of the value that we help bring to our clients.
Yeah, that's actually part of our proposal process is we'll provide you a if you didn't do it versus if you did kind of comparison. What we typically see, and again, it's heavily dependent on the type of asset that we're reviewing, but it can be anywhere from a 15% acceleration all the way up to 60 and 70% in some of the manufacturing type facilities that we've done over the years. So, it is kind of a hard question to answer, but what we won't do is I do a proposal for something that doesn't make economic sense for the client. If we review it and say this won't help you much, or the cost of this is not beneficial to you, we'll kind of back out of it. But easily we see between 20 to 35% reallocation to personal and land improvement property.
It's awesome. I mean, I think that's the nature of our team is if we're not creating cash flow, adding to our client's scalability, really helping them impact and improve their organization. We're kind of in that sea of sameness and I love the fact that we'll be candid and say, hey, you know what? We're not trying to overpromise and underdeliver and that's at our core. So
Absolutely.
any parting words on what people are thinking here as we wrap up?
No, ultimately there are a lot of firms that do this. There's not a lot of accounting firms that do this. It was really, I think it's to Armanino that they're investing in this for their clients. We want, we're not like we're not one of those practices that just wants to sell you something and be done. We want to be part of your overall and a holistic approach to your tax planning. And we want to do this one and the next one and 3 years from now. So ultimately, I think the biggest differentiator that we provide is we're not selling you a service. We're a holistic part of an approach to tax planning.
Well, thanks for your time. It's interesting times as things navigate through Washington, and given the timeline that's been presented, we'll know more over the next 2 to 5 weeks, and look forward to a future conversation here.
All right. Sounds good, Sam.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
day, Mike.